Alright guys, in today's video we have a significant amount of PlayStation 5 news to go over and discuss, so if you could do me a favor and hit that like button if you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, as well as leaving a comment down below, I would greatly appreciate it. But we are starting here with an interesting comparison that was done on The Division 2. For those who may not be aware, this game did get a next-gen upgrade about a week ago, and it does run at 4K or very close to 4K on the PS5 at 60 frames per second, but it seems like the PS5 version is lacking in a very significant way, and unfortunately, there are some individuals running with this, making it sound as though there's something severely wrong with the PS5 hardware, and it's doom and gloom, and they seem kind of foolish for doing this. It's more than obvious this has nothing to do with the PS5 hardware and everything to do with Ubisoft's lack of proper optimization, to the point where even Ubisoft had to acknowledge it. Now, when this comparison was done, there are visual features that are apparently present on the Xbox Series version and even the PlayStation 4 Pro version that are not featured on the PS5 version. This includes volumetric lighting, atmospheric rendering, smoke haze. Interiors are also said to lose volumetric lighting and screen space reflections, and load times are looking pretty abysmal, as well as the PS5 pretty much comes in last place. So it's more than obvious that there's just something really wrong here. And again, it has nothing to do with the PS5 hardware. And if you go over to the Ubisoft forums, a representative did respond to this, and they said the team is aware of the issues and are looking into them further. When we have more information to share regarding a fix, we'll communicate it. So this tells me that they are planning to fix it. I highly doubt that we're going to hear from Ubisoft that, oh, we can't fix this because the PS5 is a bad piece of hardware. I don't think that's going to happen. So it is unfortunate if you are a PS5 owner and you were excited to play this next-gen upgrade. But I think if you wait a little while, I would assume, I could be wrong about this, but I would assume that they are going to release another patch and a fix for the PS5 version. And if they do, I would be interested to see another comparison to see how it stacks up, because when looking at this, I mean, the PlayStation 4 Pro version practically looks better. Doesn't run better, but it looks better than the PS5 version. That tells you something's really wrong. So again, not sure how anybody could come to the logical conclusion that there's something wrong with the PS5 here when we see multiple third-party games running perfectly fine, looking perfectly fine on the console. We've gotten multiple next-gen upgrades and patches for other third-party titles that look and run perfectly fine, so hopefully it's something that's fixed sooner rather than later. But moving on from that, we're talking about another comparison. This time it's on the Blu Ray player, the 4K Blu Ray player that's in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. This was something that is kind of unexpected. It's not really the main reason why anybody buys a game console. However, I would argue that if you are somebody who is into video games, but you're also into collecting 4K Blu-rays, which, I think the two kind of go hand in hand in some cases, you're probably going to be interested in this, because it seems that the PS5 has a significant advantage when it comes to its 4K Blu-ray player. This comparison was done on a YouTube channel that goes by the name HD TV Test, and they did find that the PS5 comes out on top. They went into pretty good detail, and so it says, for starters, there's higher chroma bandwidth on Sony's new home console, with the PS5 rendering gradation smoother than what you see on the Xbox Series X. Elsewhere, the PS5 outputs at 12-bit YCB CR 444, while the Xbox Series X offers 10-bit RGB. And finally, this sounds like the most egregious comparison here, where Microsoft loses out. Apparently, the Xbox Series X skips a couple of frames when skipping ahead or behind, and is known to mishandle pure 24 frames per second Blu-rays. To me, that sounds like the one that you would probably notice. I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff by any means, so I don't really know, but either way, it doesn't sound ideal. So, do I think this is a big deal? No, I don't. Again, I think the overwhelming majority of people are not worried about having a 4K Blu-ray drive when they're picking up these consoles. However, we do need to acknowledge that there are individuals who do look to these consoles for their multimedia usage, and playing 4K Blu-rays does fall into that category. And so if you are somebody who is into that, you're going to want to go with the PS5 because it has a clear, distinct advantage when it comes to playing 4K Blu-rays than the Series X. I know that Sony was a little bit late to this, as they did not offer a 4K Blu-ray drive with the PS4 Pro, but it's nice to see that now that they finally, incorporated it into their console, they did it right. So there you go. I did see a lot of you guys talking about this in my comments section yesterday, which I thought was kind of funny, so I thought I would just bring it up here. But we're going to move right along here and talk about the PlayStation 5 scalping situation. I'm not going to spend too long on this. I just want to give you an update because it seems as though a possible government intervention is looking more likely. So the UK government, and obviously this is just for the UK, but this is good news all around because if the UK government does something about it, then it raises the chances of other governments also doing something about it. It says the UK government is being pressed to step up its efforts to potentially ban console scalpers after PS5 and Xbox Series console restocks have been snapped up and resold at exorbitant prices in recent weeks. Late last year, UK MPs tabled an early day motion to broach the subject of banning scalpers and the use of automated bots for gaming consoles and computer components. Douglas Chapman, MP, led the motion, which has now attracted 32 signatures from various parties. Given that experts in the cyber industry now predict the issue of scalping to grow across other important goods and services this year, we are looking at presenting a bill in Parliament so that we can further explore legislative options to protect consumers from this unfair practice. So, again, I just wanted to keep you guys updated. This is something that is starting to gain some traction in the UK, and I'm going to keep my eyes on it. And we just went over the news yesterday that apparently the situation is going to get worse before it gets better in terms of how scarce these consoles are going to be. And so that inherently means that the scalping situation has the potential to get much worse as well. It's already pretty bad. So hopefully some official action can be taken here across the board, not just in the UK, but it's a start. I also want to let you guys know that Crash Bandicoot 4 is making its way to next-gen consoles through a free upgrade and also the Nintendo Switch, and you can transfer your save files. The upgrade is actually taking full advantage of the PS5. You're going to have higher resolution, higher frame rates. It's also incorporating the 3D audio in the PlayStation 5, and it's taking advantage of the faster load times as well as the DualSense features, which makes me very happy because we're seeing more and more developers really take full advantage of the DualSense features. And it's just proving, as time goes on, that this is not a gimmick. This is not something that's just going to be abandoned. This is here to stay. All we need now is for Microsoft to copy and implement the technology into their controllers, so that way it can basically be a new industry standard for controllers. But I just wanted to let you guys know about that because it's always nice to get free next-gen upgrades for current-gen titles, or last-gen titles, I should say. Finally, we're going to end this video talking a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We have a very interesting rumor here that, if it's true, I think Xbox fans are going to be pretty upset. So apparently there is a next-gen version of this game coming, and apparently if this rumor from this supposed insiders to be believed, it's going to be more substantial than people might have thought, and it's not actually making its way to Xbox. So the much rumored PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake will reportedly be more substantial than just an increase in resolution, according to Reset-era tipster Navtra. Square Enix hasn't announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to Sony's latest home console, but Navtra seems to be pretty confident that it's not only in the pipeline, but will be pretty big and will also hit PC. No Xbox version is planned, however. And this is what he said. Here's what I last heard, though. It's releasing for PS5, PC, no Xbox, and it's a bit more substantial than a resolution increase. There's new story content. He went on to reveal that Final Fantasy VII Remake PS5 was meant to be revealed at the Future of Gaming, and he notes that his info is about 8 months old, so some things could have changed, hence why he's decided not to divulge any further info just yet. So I do want to say that that is maybe why he's saying it's not coming to Xbox. He notes that the info he has is 8 months old, and at that time, maybe they weren't working on an Xbox version, or it just wasn't something that was being talked about yet. I think it's going to come to Xbox. It would be really weird if it didn't. We know it was like a timed exclusive for a year, but who knows? Maybe because of the success of the game, Sony you know, talked to Square Enix and are like, hey, how can we, you know, further this deal and kind of keep this game off of Xbox? Because Final Fantasy VII Remake was a huge hit on PlayStation, so, and it did really well for Square Enix. So I don't think it would take much convincing from Sony to do that. They're really good partners in that way, but we're going to see. We're going to see. I think people will be very excited to see this game come to PS5, especially if it's true that it's actually going to have new story content. So we're going to have to wait. I have to assume that if this is going to happen, we'll probably learn about it relatively soon. It's hard to say these days. A lot of things just seem like they're completely up in the air, but we'll find out soon enough. So that does it for the video, guys. Again, I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.